Right, if you are watching the video feed, you would have noticed a familiar face. Well, some of you may have noticed a familiar face. We have my good friend Mr. Paul Harrison in the studio today. Come to have a little chat about what he does. Basically, Paul is a entrepreneur living in London. Runs a few things here and there, and we're going to hear about it.
There we go. Looking forward to it. How's it going, everybody out there in PharSide land?
I've seen, I know Patrick and Jess are actually listening to us right now because
awesome.
I've just sent it out on Facebook, and Patrick is he's one of the directors for Blue Sky, which runs the South African newspaper.
Yeah, and a few other things as well.
Yeah. Right, so Paul, thanks for coming down.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and I mean, okay, I know one of these things that you run is Motivation. Spelled
M-O-B-I-V-A-T-I-O-N. Yeah. It's like motivation, but with a B instead of a T.
Yeah.
So it's a Bravo instead of a Tango.
Yeah.
I'll just get this microphone right. There we go. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, what does it all entail, really? I mean, because you work on text or something.
Yeah. What it is basically motivational text messages for aspiring entrepreneurs, business owners, and investors. That's how it started off initially, but now it's really we've gone a whole lot deeper, and it's actually become we've niched a lot further. But it's motivational text messages with strategies, insights, and understandings that help people achieve long-lasting personal change.
Okay.
I mean, there's a little bit of a story as to how we got into it. If you think guys would like to hear that.
Yeah, I'll go for it.
Basically, I've been in and around the world of wealth creation and personal development, the seminar industry, if we can use that term. And for the last 6 years or so, I started off learning how to trade a stock market portfolio. And what we realized was basically there's a massive fallout rate of people attending seminars and then losing momentum, losing their focus. So the text messages, I actually attended a stock market workshop, and there was 5 of us that stuck together, and we said, okay, we're going to support each other going through all the changes in the learning curve and stuff, whilst we all still had jobs or what have you, and your focus gets torn around a little bit. So what I started doing was just sending text messages to these 5 guys, or there was four other guys and myself, and really just reminding them and keeping those goals on front of consciousness, because if you can help someone keep their focus every day on changes they want to make, they'll become successful. And that's how it initially started. And it just, I got to a situation where the 5 guys originally, there were four guys and myself who were receiving the text messages. There was people saying, listen, can you send this to my mom or my girlfriend or my dad or something like that? And it got to a situation where I think about 6 months later, I had about 87, 88 people worldwide who were getting the text messages that I was paying for. Okay. So it was costing me about 250 quid a month, you know what I'm saying? So, you do things for free when you love to do them. But, I'm a giving kind of guy, but even, 250 a month was just a little bit too much. So I figured I've got to make it into a commercial entity, some kind of commercial business. And we set the structure for the messages. The text messages are actually, they're very bespoke. So your message will be different to the message somebody else gets, dependent on where your area of focus is, your personality profiling as well, which we've got down to a certain level. But we've actually got a structure now that ties into people's context. So, I've got clients in Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, the UK, obviously, Eastern and Western Europe. And in order for those messages to be relevant, they have to come into that person's context, if that makes sense. And all these people have had different experiences, so you'd say one thing that would inspire one person would not always inspire another person. So the structure we've got ties in with a part of the brain, and this might be going a little bit sort of out there, but bear with me, folks, please, called the reticular activating system, which means that basically it brings things into your context, into your relevance. And it took us 5 years to get this profiling right, but it hits everybody's context and actually makes them feel like it's something that's personal to them as well. And when people feel understood like that, it gives them a lot of power.
And I mean, how do you do that? I mean, because obviously all these people you've never met before.
Yeah, a lot of people I haven't met. Vast majority of them I haven't met actually. It's a structure that I've got that I've worked on with cognitive behavioral therapists, so hypnotherapist, psychotherapist, and an NLP practitioner, to actually come up with the structure that is interacting with the person's context. It's pretty technical, but it's all of us human beings work in a very similar way when it comes down to the mindset and what have you. It's just being able to understand that and then build it around there.
Yeah. No, I'll tell you what, I think I needed to have a chat with you. Because, I mean, put it this way, I mean, running PharSide, I mean, most people know I have a full-time job.
Sure.
That I work 19 hours a day.
Yeah.
I come home and I've got to run PharSide, the website.
Yeah.
I'm now doing PharSide Live on Sundays.
Which is brilliant, I'm sure everybody knows it. Well done, yeah.
And, well, thanks. And, but then also, I mean, obviously going out, you know, obviously as things grow, you start getting invited to, you know, all sorts of things.
Sure.
Like for instance, I was a judge at the Biltong Awards for the South African newspaper the other day.
Yes, yeah.
Awesome little evening there, because Man of Biltong was really good. It was, it's amazing how full you get.
Yeah.
On just little shavings of Biltong.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, but anyway, what I've found now is obviously the bigger it gets, the more time I'm trying to, you know, divide, you know, amongst myself.
Yeah.
And, you know, I feel like some days I feel like, you know, I'm lost, you know, in this whole thing. So I suppose with what you do, it sort of keeps that motivation going.
It does to a degree, but it keeps your focus on what's important. You know, you also, I mean, as my profile's building now as well, I'm getting a hell of a lot of these other invites. I mean, literally last week was 5 different invites. I was double booked on 3 occasions, you know, and it's just crazy being able to do that. But you got to have some times where you can say no. You know, it's you got to be able to do that as well.
I've had to learn to start doing that too, because
it's not always easy to do, but especially when you're going out and you're socializing as well, it does have an impact the next day, you know.
Like last night. So,
yes,
I mean, you were at the slug with me yesterday.
I was, yes. I did manage to get out quite early though, so I saved myself a little bit, I think.
And that is why I am drinking Powerade today, where the girls are actually drinking, I think it's cider or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crazy.
Well, as my dad said to me once, what makes you bad makes you better. You know, if you got a hangover, get back onto it, boy.
Well, that's what Taryn was saying to me. She's like, no, have a beer. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
So, obviously, I mean, you've got motivation.
Yeah.
What else have you got going on at the moment?
I trade a private portfolio on the US stock market. I also have a business that teaches people to trade the markets as well.
Okay.
We've actually just launched an initiative, a pilot scheme with the university as well, going into universities and actually providing a supportive infrastructure for university students who want to build their own businesses. So I'm bringing in a lot of my business partners, and they're going to be adhering to the Nexus, the infrastructure that we have, and then from there, obviously, they're going to get access to the university students. So my vision for that is really that we're going to be able to have students who are making running profitable businesses before they've even graduated with their qualification. And we've actually just been accredited now as one of the accreditations for the BA in Enterprise at one of the local universities as well. Okay, so that's part of the curriculum. So it's all good.
And so basically, if I wanted to learn how to trade now, I could have a chat to you. And
you could, yeah.
And I mean, do you have a website for that, or?
No, because the thing is, I actually contract under another business. So,
okay.
But I mean, people can. I'm not a hard man to find. You know.
Yeah. Well, obviously, you got your Facebook profile. Do you actually have a page? You know, that people can get in touch with you?
Yeah, there is Traders Motivation, or there is Network Marketers Motivation, which is another niche, or there is Motivation as well on there. But yeah, you just find Paul Harrison or facebook.com/PHIREITUP. So that's fired up with a PH.
just like the PharSide.
Exactly. That's why I think there's some similarities there, my man. I'll also have to get my tattoo soon. You know?
Paul and I were actually going on. Well, we were having a conversation yesterday about this whole PH thing.
Yeah.
Because obviously his initials are PH, whereas I use the PharSide. Well, PH in PharSide because of the club in Pinetown.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything to me is all these PH things, and everything to you is PH.
Well, this is the thing. I was presenting at this event last weekend, and they were saying how are you building your brand and how are you building your personal following. And I was saying, well, it's not something I've done a lot of work on, but just taking positive words that have an F in them and changing it to have a PH, like fire it up, you know, fire it up, or electrifying with a PH. And you know, all these other terms, the Friday as well. But the thing is, what's interesting is people start referring back to you with a PH as well.
Yeah.
So how's it PH? Or they start using these terms, and when you get that, it's like what I said to these guys. They're all the guys I spoke with last Sunday. It was the Expert Success Formula Retreat Week. Okay, and these guys are some high-profile individuals. And I was saying, when Facebook and Google, when they become that prevalent, you use that term as a verb or a noun. Like, I'll just Google it, or I'll Facebook you. And when somebody says to me, "How's it PH?" or what have you, then I think we're onto something there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, nowadays when you want to send somebody a message on Facebook, but a private message, you're like, "I'll inbox you."
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we've had that in email
Yeah.
for many years,
Yeah.
but only now has it really taken effect
Yeah,
with
exactly.
Facebook.
Exactly. Yeah, when it's something slightly more personal, you'll inbox them. But yeah, no, good fun.
Oh, good. And obviously you were MC at Barry Hilton.
At Barry Hilton.
Yeah.
Woo!
Awesome,
2 years in a row.
mate.
2 years in a row now. So yeah, must be doing something right.
Obviously, JC must like what you do.
Well, it was a crazy way that it happened because again, it was just a social media, and JC picked me up on the social media there.
Just to let everybody know, JC is from sapromo.com.
Yeah. And obviously we got a few, friends, mutual friends, because my whole journey over the last 14 years I've been over here. Only the last year or so have I come into the South African community. I seem to have done everything the wrong way around. Should start off with the South African community and then spread out into the city and everything else like that. But yeah, what happened was JC he inboxed me. He inboxed me, and he said, listen, I'd like to catch up and have a conversation with you about a few things. So I said, making more contacts, it's a good thing to do. So we went and we had coffee, and the conversation went very well. He gave me some of his background, I gave him my background. And he did say to me at the end of the sort of the chat, it wasn't a meeting or anything, but he said, you do know, of course, that you're going to be emceeing for Barry Hilton. And I said, yeah. Is that what they call South African humor, JC? And anyway, that would have been about September. I think it was November time or October time of the year.
Yeah, October, I think it was
last year. And I was sort of sitting there, and I remember thinking, was JC being serious or not? So I texted him. I said, listen, were you actually being serious about this? Because now I'm starting to worry, okay? I'm starting to worry. And he comes back and he goes, yeah, of course. He goes, I don't joke about things like that. Yeah. And I said, okay. And this is when because Barry Hilton's like a hero, hero of mine, my cousin, It's like, and I'm thinking, oh my word. But you see, there's one thing I've learned over the last 3 years. Well, I mean, from my whole journey when I first arrived here, I was working construction sites and nightclubs. I got no university qualification or anything. But what I have learned in life is that if you ever get even just a fraction of an opportunity to do something, you go for it. You go for it with everything you have. You tear into it. And maybe 7 times out of the 10, nothing happens. Once out of the 10, it's mediocre, but then the other 2 times out of the 10, it opens up to bigger things. And I'll be honest with you, man, I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified. If you get on stage with 1,000 South Africans,
I know the feeling.
and it's just like, yeah, you do. But it was absolutely petrifying, and I didn't have anything prepared because JC said to me, he said to me, listen, just come on and you'll just thank the sponsors and stuff. And then he says, okay, we're probably going to start at about 8 and Barry will come on at 15:15. I said, well, what am I going to do 15 minutes? And Sean Kilner was down there from Klipdrift in Savannah. And we had a bit of a sort of a competition there to throw some balls, which didn't work out that well, but it was okay. But then, so I had to come up with some stuff. Like within literally 2 hours, I had to come up with something, and thank the Lord, it was okay. But what it was initially was, I remember we'd only had about 600 people in the room, but they'd booked out 1,000 tickets at about 8 o'clock. So JC comes up, or Hazel Hool comes up, and she goes, listen guys, we're still waiting on some people, so just go out there now and make a bit of a joke about it. So I think, you're kidding me, go out there and make a bit of a joke about it. And I'm standing at the back there, I'm standing behind the stage, and Barry's there as well, and we're both sitting there, and it's just like, I said to him, I'm absolutely brilliant, mate. And he goes, well, me too.
Not helping, eh? Not helping.
No. So anyway, so Hazel goes down, man, just go on there and make a joke of it. It's like, it's all very well for you to say that. As I walked out, I made some reference to, it was okay because I grabbed the microphone. As soon as I grabbed that microphone, I thought, I got you, it's okay. And I made some reference to our brothers and sisters being on African time, and and we'll be starting. But of course, what happens is you lose that fear because the adrenaline goes. It's not, you don't have to control your breathing or anything like that. But that was awesome. That was just such a wicked night, and the other night as well when he was down there was absolutely awesome. But yeah, it's pretty cool, man.
Well, just to let you know, Paul comes up to me at the beginning of just as I arrived, and says to me, "Listen, we're just giving some shouts out, say thanks and everything. Would you like to come up on the stage?" So I'm thinking, okay, fine. I mean, he just wants me to walk up, shake his hand, and walk off. I get up on stage, and he's like, "Oh, so Marky from PharSide is going to say a few words." I'm like,
sorry, man, I should have prepped you better, right?
No, it's fine, man. But it's funny because, after I got off, I was so comfortable with it by the time I walked off.
Exactly.
But then I was like, oh, I should have said this. I should have said that.
Yeah. I think that Haley Short as well was up there, and she had a similar thing. Yes. Shame, man. Yeah. It's when you get up there and the lights are on you, it's like, oh my word, But I do a little bit of other speaking as well at other events, and obviously I do the coaching for the stock market workshops and stuff. But doing that on that kind of stage, with all your South Africans there, it was very, very special. It really, and it's become a big thing for me now, particularly over the last year, and obviously meeting yourself and JC and a lot of other people who've got a good profile in the London South African community, and obviously the networking events and the South African newspaper that I'm writing for now as well. But it's becoming very, very important for me now to be able to give something back. Because obviously over the last 14 years I've been here, there's all the other contacts that I've been building on the other areas, and if I can bring those contacts through and help out the South African community as well, then that's awesome. It really is awesome.
You've actually just reminded me. Paul actually writes a column in the South African newspaper every week. So pick yourself up a copy every Tuesday and read the whole thing. And then when you stumble upon Paul's column, then read it as well.
Most certainly, and we were also always looking for interesting South Africans to interview who are working in the UK as well. So, we're always keen to do that. We've got a section called The Graft is Greener. If you're keen to be interviewed for that, I'd drop us an email and you find it out. Be all good.
Basically with that column, you basically talk about, you single out South Africans that are doing things, with themselves in London. Yeah,
there's two columns actually. There's two areas that I focus on. So the one is The Graft is Greener, which is really South Africans working in the UK. The other section is, obviously it's all the business section I deal with. The other section is something called 3 Insights Into, which is where I'm bringing the other contacts from the wealth creation, internet marketing, trading, all these other business world, some of the best guys in Europe, across Europe, and answering South Africans' questions.
Okay.
So we've got guys who are setting up a business, they've got questions over their internet marketing strategy or something. I can actually then go out and tie up one of the biggest names in internet marketing, come through and actually give them firstly their 3 best insights, but then also answer their 3 questions directly. And obviously it's good exposure for the guys coming through, but one of the criteria I said to the experts was that our readers need to get the best information that they could only get if they're being personally mentored by you. So again, it's a way of really being able to get some high quality, real high quality information for people who are looking to build their business, and obviously it doesn't cost them anything like that either. So again, just trying to really support the South African community here and take things to a whole nother level.
Very interesting stuff, I tell you.
Keeps you off the streets, I'll tell you that much.
Well, there you go. It doesn't keep you out of the slug, though.
No. My loyalty is growing by the day.
Do you know that this is streaming at Suburban right now?
Oh, really?
Yeah, they stream it. They stream the show every Sunday.
Serious? Okay, well, I might have to pull in there on the way back.
I know. Go grab yourself a PharSide cocktail.
A PharSide cocktail, I will do.
It's on the menu. Right. No, Paul, thanks a lot for coming down.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been great having you. I mean, to be honest, I think you and I are going to have a long chat after this.
Certainly.
Very soon about yeah, all the mentoring stuff and
we're
that.
doing,
So yeah, good.
No, awesome. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for the opportunity. It's
Yeah.
again, I'm knowing that life's not all about wins and losses, but it's about the opportunity. And whenever you get that opportunity, you go for it. So really appreciate it. And any people I can help with the positions I'm in, then let me know. Hook me up. As I said, I'm not a hard man to find.
Yeah, no, cool. And just how can people get in touch with you again?
They can either get me at paul@motivation.com, or you can find me on Facebook. Obviously you and I are friends on Facebook there as well. But otherwise, it's facebook.com/PHIREITUP. So that's Fire It Up, but with a PH instead of an F.
Cool, awesome. And you can actually, I'm gonna this interview has been recorded, so I'm gonna put it on YouTube later this evening.
That'd be awesome. Cheers.
If you want to watch it again, then just go onto the PharSide Live Facebook page, which is facebook.com/PharSide Live, all one word. That's the dedicated Facebook page for the show. So
awesome.
I'll post all the videos up of all the interviews that I do on that page. So if you want to watch it again, then be my guest.
Well, you just made my mother's day because she likes to see everything recorded, so she can play it for my granny.
Oh, nice.
Hi, Mom.
Hello, Mom.
That's it, yeah. No, thanks again, man. Much appreciated.
Oh, awesome. No, thanks a lot for coming down again, Paul.
No worries.
Awesome. Cool.